My name is Madison Hale, and I'm 33 years old. For most of my life, I've kept my head down, played by the rules, and tried my best to be the steady one in a family full of chaos. I never wore flashy clothes, never demanded attention. I just worked hard, stayed quiet, and kept my circle small. Maybe that's why no one saw it coming, not even me. It was the morning of my wedding. I was standing barefoot in the bridal suite, wrapped in a silk robe, smiling to myself as the sunlight streamed through the lace curtains. The room smelled faintly of roses and perfume. Everything had been planned to perfection, every detail selected after months of coordination. Today was supposed to be the beginning of a beautiful new chapter with the man I loved, Jason. But then I saw it. At first, my brain refused to process the sight. I blinked.
Once. Twice.
My wedding dress, my delicate, hand-sewn, pearl-beaded gown, was ripped to shreds. White lace lay in clumps across the floor like fallen snow. The bodice had been slashed through the middle. Tiny pearls I'd spent hours stitching onto the neckline rolled across the wooden floor like tears. My breath caught in my throat. My fingers trembled as I stepped closer, unable to believe what I was seeing. I wasn't alone for long. The door burst open. Madison, Bella, my best friend and maid of honor, rushed in, her bridesmaid dress swishing around her knees. Her eyes widened the second she saw the ruined gown. Oh my God, no. No, no, no. I turned to her slowly, still frozen. Who would do this? But before she could answer, she grabbed my wrist. You need to come downstairs. Now. What? Bella, my dress. Forget the dress. Something's happening. You need to see it yourself. Heart pounding, I followed her out of the suite, down the grand staircase of the venue Jason and I had spent months choosing together. My bare feet hit the cool marble, and before I could reach the bottom step, I felt it, the silence. Thick, strange silence. The kind that comes right before something breaks. And then came the whispers. The whispers grew louder with every step I took. Guests stood in clusters across the lavish reception hall, clutching champagne glasses and murmuring behind hands. Their faces were painted with a mix of pity and discomfort. A few of them looked up when they saw me, then quickly looked away. My mother, Patricia, stood near the center of the room with one hand pressed against her mouth. My father, Robert, was red-faced, arguing with a man in a black uniform who looked like he belonged to the catering staff. We received a call this morning canceling the entire food and beverage order, the caterer was saying. From who? Robert demanded. From the bride's number, sir. We have a recording. That's impossible, I said, stepping forward. I never. Bella's voice cut through the tension. Where's Jason? I turned, scanning the crowd until I spotted him, Jason, standing near the entrance in his tailored navy blue suit. His best man hovered beside him, looking uncomfortable. Jason's face was pale, his eyes troubled. When our eyes met, he gave a slight shake of the head, as if bracing himself. We need to talk, he said softly. He led me into a quiet corner by the floral archway. I could see his hands trembling as he pulled out his phone. I've been getting these messages since early this morning, he said. From random numbers and screenshots. I stared at the screen. Message after message, texts that looked like I was flirting with, even meeting up with my ex-boyfriend. Intimate words, photos I'd never seen before. Some of them looked like doctored versions of old pictures. But they were good, scary good. Tell me these aren't real, Jason whispered. They're not. Jason, you know me. I thought I did. He ran a hand through his hair, stepping back. Then Vanessa came to me. My stomach dropped. What does she have to do with this? She showed me proof. She said she couldn't keep quiet anymore. She told me you were using me, that you planned to leave after gaining access to my accounts. I couldn't breathe. She's lying, I shouted. But Jason just looked down, then whispered, I need time, Madison. I can't do this today. And just like that, he walked away. I stood there motionless, surrounded by 200 guests, friends, family, colleagues, who had just witnessed the complete unraveling of my life. Some looked away awkwardly. Others whispered, filming discreetly with their phones. My mother finally approached me, her eyes brimming with tears. "Why didn't you tell me you were having doubts?" she whispered. I stared at her in disbelief. "Mom, this is all fake. Can't you see Vanessa did this?" "Don't blame your sister," she sighed. "She's only trying to protect the family from scandal." That's when I saw her. Vanessa stood at the top of the stairs, feigning concern. Our eyes met. For a split second, she dropped the act. The corner of her mouth curved into a smirk. That was the moment I knew. She thought she'd won. But I wasn't done. "I want everyone out," I told Bella, my voice cracking but steady. "And then I want to start planning." "Planning what?" she asked gently. "My comeback." 3 months later, I sat across from Bella at our favorite coffee shop, spreading out a stack of brochures and business cards. "You're really serious about this?" she asked, stirring her latte. "Most people wouldn't touch weddings again after what happened." "Exactly," I said, tapping one of the cards. "Most people haven't had their own sister blow up their wedding in front of 200 guests. But I've learned what can go wrong and how to prevent it." I had started a new venture, Madison Hale Events, wedding crisis management. If a bride needed someone to triple-check vendors, protect against sabotage, or handle last-minute chaos, I was the one. Bella's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then winced. Vanessa just posted another vacation photo with Travis. Ugh, they look disgustingly happy. "Delete her," I said flatly. "Already did. But your mom keeps asking when you'll talk to her again." "Maybe when hell freezes over," I muttered, "or when Vanessa admits what she did, whichever comes first." The next day, I stood in front of my first clients, Jessica and Marcus. As they shared their wedding vision, Jessica suddenly paused. "Wait, aren't you the one?" I smiled.
Yes.
"And I run the most detail-oriented wedding planning service in the city. Nothing goes wrong on my watch." And for the first time in months, I meant every word. I was just leaving a vendor meeting when my phone rang. It was Jason. My heart stuttered, unsure whether to answer, but curiosity won. "Hello," I said, trying to keep my tone neutral. His voice was low, hesitant. "I've been doing a lot of thinking about everything." I stayed silent. "I should have trusted you," he continued. "I've been looking into the screenshots. They're fake. I have proof." I leaned against my car, the wind knocked out of me. 3 months too late, Jason." "I know," he whispered, "but I met someone. A guy named Carter. He says he helped Vanessa fake the messages. He kept everything. He's willing to talk." I met with Jason and Carter the next day in a quiet cafe. Carter, a tech freelancer, laid out emails, timestamps, and edited message templates. She said it was a harmless prank, just some sisterly drama before the big day. "A prank?" I echoed, my jaw tightening. She never paid me in full, so I kept receipts. Carter slid over a folder, copies of messages, vendor cancellations, and a digital trail tied directly to Vanessa's home IP address. "Can you prove it was her, not someone else using her Wi-Fi?" Jason asked. "She emailed me herself. Used her business account. Here." And there it was, undeniable proof that Vanessa had planned every detail of my downfall. My phone buzzed with another message from Bella. "Your mom wants to talk. Vanessa's wedding is next month. She wants you to be there." Before I could respond, another call came in. "Unknown number." "Madison," a woman's voice said. "Yes. This is Natalie. I used to date Travis. Vanessa's fiancé. I think you and I need to talk." We met the following afternoon. Natalie looked nervous, her fingers tight around a coffee mug. "She did the same thing to me," she said. "Fake messages, manipulated screenshots. Travis broke up with me, thinking I was cheating. Then I saw what happened to you." "She's done this before?" I whispered. Natalie nodded. "And there's more. Vanessa and Travis got engaged the week before your wedding. She told him to keep it a secret, said she didn't want to steal your thunder." A sick feeling settled in my chest. She wasn't just sabotaging my wedding. She wanted both spotlights, mine and hers. And now I had allies. I stared at Natalie across the cafe table, feeling every piece of my ruined wedding click into place. Vanessa hadn't just acted out of jealousy, she had strategized my humiliation. She wanted to shine brighter by blowing out my light. But what she didn't realize was, I don't stay in the dark for long. Later that evening, Bella and I sat cross-legged on her apartment floor, surrounded by printed evidence, legal notepads, and laptops. This is insane, Bella whispered, flipping through Carter's folder. She planned it all like a campaign. A campaign against me, I replied. And now I'm going to give her the exposure she's always craved. Are you really going to her wedding? Bella asked. I'm not just going, I said, holding up the gold-trimmed invitation. I'm RSVPing, yes. Bella blinked. As a guest? As her bridesmaid? She nearly choked on her wine. You're out of your mind. No, I said quietly. I'm in hers. And I'm staying there until I'm ready to flip the script. The next day, I met Jason and Carter again, this time joined by Derek, a neutral mutual friend who had stayed out of the drama but still respected me enough to help. We laid out the plan. Carter would handle the tech, screens, audio, time-stamped digital trails. Jason had access to some of Travis's financial records, showing company funds mysteriously redirected to accounts connected to Vanessa. Natalie would give testimony, backing the pattern of manipulation. Bella and I would be on the ground, organizing the moment when everything would come to light. I received one last call from Vanessa the night before her big day. Madison, I'm so happy you're coming, she said sweetly. Maybe you could help with the speeches? You're so good at being poised under pressure. Of course, I replied. You deserve a perfect wedding. After hanging up, Bella gave me a look. You're playing with fire. I picked up the silver envelope again, running my fingers over the embossed date. No, I murmured. I'm playing her game. But this time, I know every rule. My phone buzzed. Natalie, just sent you a voice recording. Travis's ex-employee confirms Vanessa ordered vendor cancellations from her office. Another nail in the coffin. Vanessa wanted the perfect wedding. I'd make sure she got it. Just not the way she imagined. The ballroom looked like a dream. Vanessa's dream, anyway. Crystal chandeliers shimmered above the crowd of 300 well-dressed guests. Roses overflowed from gold-trimmed vases. A live string quartet played softly as servers passed around champagne. She had spared no expense. And there she was. Vanessa stood at the center in a designer gown, her diamond ring flashing as she soaked up every ounce of admiration. From a distance, she looked flawless, untouchable. But I knew the truth behind the makeup and smiles. Bella leaned toward me. You sure about this? Yes, I whispered. Everything's in place. Carter gave us a subtle nod from the tech booth. Derek was by the back exit, ready if things got heated. Natalie sat in the third row, clutching her statement. Jason stood near the bar, a folder of Travis's financial documents in hand. I walked to the microphone. Vanessa had placed me last in the speech lineup, likely hoping I'd melt under the pressure. I smiled as I faced the crowd. For those who don't know me, I began. I'm Madison Hale, the bride's sister. Whispers stirred. And I'm a wedding planner now, specializing in crisis management. Funny how life prepares you. I paused. You see, I know how weddings can go wrong, especially when someone wants them to. Vanessa stiffened in her seat. Madison, she warned. Today isn't about my wedding. I continued, my voice steady. It's about truth. And consequences. I nodded to Carter. The ballroom screens lit up. One by one, they displayed time-stamped messages Vanessa had edited, vendor cancellation emails traced to her computer, and payment records from Travis's company redirected to her personal account. Gasps spread through the crowd. Natalie stood up. She did the same thing to me.
Lied.
Manipulated. Faked messages to ruin my relationship, too. Even Patricia stood, her voice trembling. It's all true. I saw the proof with my own eyes. Then it happened. Vanessa stood, face pale, eyes wild. You liar, she screamed, and charged toward me. Before I could react, her hand yanked my hair backward hard, and her other fist punched me across the face. The room froze. Guests gasped. Some screamed. Security rushed forward. "Step back, ma'am," one of them shouted, pulling her off me. "You ruined everything," Vanessa shrieked as they dragged her away. "You're jealous. This was my day." I straightened my dress, stepped back to the mic, my cheek throbbing. "No, Vanessa," I said calmly. "You did this to yourself. I just made sure everyone saw the truth." The video of Vanessa attacking me went viral within hours. Guests had recorded everything: the speech, the screens, the punch, the screams. I woke up the next morning to hundreds of messages. Some were from friends I hadn't spoken to in years. Others were from strangers thanking me for standing up against abuse, manipulation, and public humiliation. But what mattered most were the calls from lawyers and the district attorney's office. I filed charges the same week. My attorney helped me press for aggravated assault, caught on camera and witnessed by over 200 guests, cyber defamation and emotional distress, fraud and theft through business manipulation, based on the financial documents Jason and Carter provided. Travis filed a separate suit, embezzlement from company funds, including suspicious withdrawals Vanessa made while claiming to help with bookkeeping. It didn't take long. Vanessa was arrested within 48 hours. The court denied her request for a private trial. 3 weeks later, I sat in the courtroom beside Bella. Jason and Travis sat behind me. My cheek had healed, but the emotional bruise still lingered. Patricia sat alone in the back, pale and quiet. Vanessa entered the courtroom in a plain beige suit. The once shimmering sister now looked tired and cornered. She avoided my gaze. Carter was the star witness. He walked the court through email chains, payment records, fake message generators, and screenshots Vanessa had used to sabotage my life. Natalie gave her testimony calmly and clearly. Even Patricia stood and admitted under oath that she had seen proof of Vanessa's sabotage and had initially ignored it. When the judge returned, silence fell over the room. "Vanessa Hale," he said, "this court finds you guilty on all charges presented. The severity of your actions, both digital and physical, reflect a pattern of deceit, abuse, and criminal behavior." He paused, then delivered the sentence. "You are hereby sentenced to 3 years in state prison, with no option for early parole. You are also ordered to pay full restitution to the victims and undergo mandatory psychological counseling and anger management therapy." Vanessa's head fell forward. For once, there was no defense, just silence. As officers led her away, she turned and locked eyes with me. I didn't flinch. This wasn't revenge. It was justice. In the weeks following the trial, my life transformed in ways I never expected. The story, my story, spread across blogs, podcasts, and wedding industry forums. Some called me the bride who fought back. Others labeled me the woman who turned sabotage into success. Either way, Madison Hale events exploded with inquiries. Clients weren't just hiring me to plan weddings. They wanted someone who could protect their day, someone who'd lived through the worst and come out stronger. And I did. One morning, I opened my inbox to see a message from the Modern Bride magazine. They wanted to feature my business as the go-to planner for crisis control. Bella was the first to celebrate. "From public humiliation to published hero," she said, handing me a latte. "Not bad." "It still feels surreal," I admitted. "But it's finally peaceful." That afternoon, I stopped by my office and found a small package sitting on my desk. No return label, just my name in neat handwriting. Inside was a velvet box and a folded letter. "Dear Madison, my therapist suggested I write this. At first, I refused. But I can't keep pretending I didn't cause the damage I did. You were always stronger than me. I hated you for it. But the truth is, I envied you, your calm, your confidence, your ability to stand tall even when no one stood with you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I am trying to change." Inside this box is something that belonged to both of us, Mom's charm bracelet. We fought over it like children. But you always protected it. And me. You should have it now. Vanessa. I stared at the bracelet. It sparkled in the sunlight, each charm a memory from when we were just sisters, before ego, before sabotage, before everything broke.
I didn't cry.
I didn't smile. I just placed it gently in my drawer and closed it. Some things could be mended. Others needed time. That evening, Patricia stopped by with 2 coffee cups. "Thought you might need this," she said quietly, placing one beside me. I gestured toward the guest chair. "How's the house hunt?" "Empty," she admitted. "But honest. That's something." She paused. "Vanessa's therapist reached out. They want to schedule a supervised conversation between you two, but only when you're ready." "I'll think about it," I said softly. Not for Vanessa's sake, but for my own healing. It was a quiet Friday morning when my phone buzzed with a message from Jason. "Coffee later?"
Need your advice about something.
I hesitated for a moment, then typed back. "Sure." 4 p.m. My office. By the time he arrived, I was wrapping up a consultation. Bella gave me a subtle wink before stepping out, leaving us alone. Jason stood at the door in a navy jacket, holding something behind his back and looking nervous. "I know we were meeting for coffee," he said, walking in slowly, "but I couldn't wait." Before I could reply, he reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. My breath caught. "Madison," he began, "I failed you once. When it mattered most, I doubted you. And I've regretted it every single day since." I stared at him, heart thudding. "But after everything I've seen, the strength you showed, the grace you held even when the world turned on you, Madison, I fell in love with you all over again." He opened the box. Inside was a simple, elegant gold band with a small, brilliant diamond. Understated. Classic. Just like him. "I don't need a big wedding," he said. "I just need you. Will you marry me?" I froze. Not because I didn't know my answer, but because for the first time, I wasn't afraid of what saying yes would mean. "Yes," I said, my voice steady. "But on one condition." "Anything." "We elope. Just us. Quiet, private, and free of chaos." He laughed and slipped the ring on my finger.
Deal.
At that moment, Bella burst in, clearly having been eavesdropping, with her phone raised. "Sorry. I had to record it. You're glowing. Delete that video." I groaned, laughing despite myself. "Not a chance," she grinned. "It's going in your highlight reel." Jason took my hand and kissed it gently. "No sabotage. No guest list drama. Just you and me." And for the first time in a long time, I believed in forever again. Not because he made promises, but because I had found my strength first. The morning sun spilled into my office, golden and quiet. I sat at my desk, calendar open, to-do list half-checked, and the bracelet Vanessa had returned tucked safely in the drawer beside me. My phone buzzed. A message from Patricia lit up the screen. "Family therapy session next week. Vanessa will be there. No pressure, but there's a seat for you if you want it." I stared at the screen for a long time. Forgiveness wasn't a button you pressed. It wasn't for Vanessa, it was for me. But I wasn't sure I was ready. And maybe, for now, that was okay. Bella walked in with 2 coffees and a grin. "Big day. You've got back-to-back consultations and a venue walkthrough at noon." "Bring it on," I said, stretching. "Oh, and did you see the feature in the Knot?" she asked. "Your story is now required reading for brides who want to protect their wedding." I smiled wryly. Didn't see that coming. Just then, a young couple entered. My 9 a.m. appointment. They looked a little nervous, fingers laced together. "We heard about what happened at your sister's wedding," the bride said. "That's why we chose you. We need someone who can spot trouble before it happens." I stood and extended my hand. "That's exactly what we do here," I said warmly. "Tell me about your vision." As they sat down, I noticed a small envelope had been left on my desk. The return address was unfamiliar. Inside was a photograph, me and Vanessa, maybe age 7, wearing matching dresses, holding a toy cake between us, smiling without bitterness. A note was scribbled on the back. "Before everything broke, there was love. Maybe someday we can find a piece of that again.
V."
I slipped the photo into a file folder without a word. Maybe one day. But today was about what I'd built. I turned to my clients, listened to their ideas, and began sketching out timelines and themes. And as I did, a quiet truth settled over me. I hadn't just survived betrayal. I had rebuilt my life from it. From public shame to personal triumph. From silence to strength. From shattered dreams to a new kind of forever. Because when people tried to bury me, they forgot. I wasn't a seed. I was the whole damn tree. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this one. Your support helps bring more real emotions and unforgettable moments to life. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the strongest revenge is rebuilding in silence.